The last couple of weeks at the rectory has been interesting. As we all know, we have a seminary who's in residence with us, but also in residence with me. So I'm learning how I can be a parent. I feel like I'm a parent. So just yesterday, just a little story, and I'll get into the homily. It has to do with it, I promise. Ryan was kind of MIA for the morning. I didn't really know what was going on. I knew that it was going to be ordinary time today, so everything was going to be green. And in the pastoral letter that he wrote in the bulletin, he was talking about the green altar frontal that was going to be on the altar. And, well, I think he thought the altar frontal that we had was a little bit wrinkly, so he wanted to iron it. So he was not around much in the morning, and then all of a sudden I kind of see him. I say, "Hey, Ryan, what's going on?" Well, he finally came out of the darkness and told me that he burnt a hole through the altar. So, hence, we have a different altar frontal on the altar today. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is he doesn't eat for a few days, right? So, I mean, it'll work its way out. You know, after a couple of weeks of him paying me back, it'll be great. So, but there is a notion of darkness. We like to, when we do something, and when kids do something that might be wrong, of course we don't see them, they're a little bit embarrassed about it, and they try to cover it up. And sometimes they do a really, really bad job at covering it up. But at the end of the day, with parents, and with those that love them, it's going to be okay. We're going to work through it. There's love and mercy in all things. All they got to do is fess up. Tell the truth, be real. And it's all going to work its way out. Same thing happens to each one of us with our own sinfulness, though. With the stuff that we're really struggling with in our own lives. We try to cover that up, not only just with each other and pretend that everything is fine, but we try to do that with God too. And say, "No, I don't have any problems, I'm afraid to come to Him." When in reality, when we do come to terms with our own sinfulness, as St. Paul says over and over again, "I boast of my weakness, because only then am I made strong." When I open myself up to the weakness and admit to it, and realize that I can't do everything myself, only then God's grace is poured in and give us that unconditional healing and mercy that we all need. In the confessional, in such a special way, when we get tired of just covering it up and come to Him with humble and contrite hearts, we're washed clean. We're made new again. We're made fresh. He gives us His unconditional mercy. But also in our own families and those that we trust. I hope that when we receive the sacrament today, when we receive His graces, that we have that courage, if we are struggling with something, to open up to somebody in our family, somebody that we trust. Because they might be placed into your life for a certain reason. They're being Christ to you and give you healing and mercy and love that you need at that very moment. And the same thing goes for each one of us. If we've gone through something, and if we've been raised above it, we've received the mercy of God, God might be placing into somebody into our life that has gone through the same thing that you have. And you might be able to bring that light of Christ to them by your word, by your example, by your healing presence. Coming out of the shadows, coming out of the darkness, and once we expose whatever needs to be exposed, just like to the sunlight, that healing power can take place. So we never take for granted the healing power of God and the healing power He has given each one of us by our priesthood. Priest, prophet, and king, and those that we have been called to serve in this world. So anything that's hidden, yes, will someday be revealed, and He says, "Do not be afraid." We take this week to reflect upon our lives and open ourselves up to the love and mercy of God. And by our very self, by our very discipleship, we're called to do the same thing for others.